Rarely has mankind hesitated to eradicate the creatures that stand in the path of his conquest. If we find ritual extirpation, undesirable natives of another world, the rest must be destroyed. Is it possible that our dark past watch them and pray?
Greetings, ladies, gentlemen, government agents, bored professional athletes, and anybody who might be listening. This is Close Encounters of the Podcast Kind. I am your host, Tasker, and we have today, as usual, Nick.
Guess what, buddy? I just did leg day, all right? Now, everybody who doesn't work out, all of you little, fragile, hollow skeleton having, no muscle-bearing people out there, guess what? I just did leg day. I want you to listen to this. You know what this is? What does that sound like?
Sounds like fapping on the air.
That's called a hamstring. And they're tight right now. And it's hard for me to sit on the couch like Indian style.
Mm. I gotta say,
racist to say Indian style.
I'm honestly probably at this point, it's just safe to assume that a lot of the things that we said as kids are now back in the 90s is probably now considered to be politically incorrect.
My legs are so fucking tight. I'm ready for this episode. I'm excited.
I gotta say, it was pretty impressive to see, because we're on FaceTime right now, of course, to be able to see each other's beautiful shining faces as we record this. And Nick, you really did some kind of like cheerleader, like acrobatic, like leg kick to show off that leg action. I even saw a little bit of butt. That was pretty amazing.
I'm nimble. Like a cat. I can lift my leg up and start licking my own balls if I wanted to. Look at that.
I love it. If there ever came a time for you to make a Tinder profile, all you got to do is re-listen to this episode. You got your whole description ready.
I'm like a cat. I can lick my own balls. That would be my Tinder bio.
The best opener. I mean, I'm interested, even just thinking about it. So, Nick's Tinder profile aside, we are getting back into SCPs today. It's a continuing series that we began actually a really long time ago. It's been a hot second since we've done SCPs, right?
It has been, and that's why I'm excited to get back into it, because everybody loves SCPs, man. Look, I know there's a big debate if it's real, if it's not real. I'm gonna come out and just say I'm not gonna say. All right, I don't want to get on it. I'm gonna fence sit on this one. Everybody loves SCPs, though, right? It's fun, educational,
right?
You get to learn about different weird shit going on around the world.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And of course, SCPs, if you don't know, is the SCP Foundation, which stands for Secure, Contain, Protect. It is a foundation that targets, it's almost like, I almost compare it to like, do you remember the old Men in Black cartoon? I'm not talking about actual Men in Blacks, things that I think really do make your butthole pucker, but I'm talking about the fictional version. That's like the alien, like extermination group.
Yeah. And the Will Smith one.
Yeah, exactly. Like SCP is kind of like that, but not necessarily for aliens, but for just strange anomalies and strange, like just bizarre, like almost otherworldly, extra dimensional stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. It's super fucking cool.
Oh, yeah. And so just a quick review, of course, SCP Foundation is a website of submitted stories from the viewers, allegedly, that are in the format of scientific files with redacted sections and the whole shebang. Foundation itself is allegedly a private organization that dedicates itself to studying, containing, and protecting the human race from unexplainable phenomena. They use a specific system. Like, we're just going to blast through it. This is for everyone who's just hopping in for the first time, didn't listen to our first episode. But SCPs are the creatures are, when they're captured or identified, referred to by the name SCP, whatever number they are, or just referred to as their number. For example, SCP-28 or SCP-1001. And they also have a different class system depending on they're classed based on how containable they are. Is that kind of what it's based on?
Yes, not so they're classed on containment procedures and how easy to how difficult they are, but it doesn't have anything to do with how dangerous they are as a creature, as an object. So they could be the easiest contained creature in the world, but they could also be the deadliest.
which is a very, very important note to make. So especially because let's go through the classes, but like this first one's a little it throws you off a bit because the first class is safe, which is very easily contained, but does not necessarily mean they are dangerous, like you said. So
right.
Very, very tricky. Second class is Euclid. They require specific procedures to be contained, but once they have been contained, it's very easy to keep them locked up. Keter, which is objects and creatures that are considered they need very specific containment procedures, and if not followed correctly, can very easily lead to harm or death, and they're a lot harder to keep locked up. Those are like our big hitters, the big scary ones. And we have, is it Thaumiel?
Thaumiel, yes.
Yes. They're a lot rarer and are actually used by the SCP Foundation, the alleged SCP Foundation.
Why do you keep saying alleged? Why do you have to keep throwing? Okay, and everybody, obviously we're on FaceTime because we're still in quarantine, but I can see him and he can see me. Every time he says alleged, he looks over at me in spite.
Well, yeah, because SCP Foundation is just a user submitted site. These are all stories. They're all made up.
Oh, is that so?
which is funny too. I'm all here to just shoot myself in the foot over and over again, but I did stumble upon one of them where I don't know which one it was exactly, but when I clicked on it on the file, it said like if you like basically I guess it's an SCP that when you read about it, it like infects your computer. So it says like it's like read on with caution, or unless you have like a such and such SCP to keep you safe, and like it said, but if not, close out and clear your cache. And hey man, I wasn't gonna test it. I cleared my
Oh my god, what a pussy.
Hey man, with everything fucking going on in the world right now, like I ain't gonna test even if it's bullshit. Especially since our podcast might be cursed now. I'm just, I'm covering my bases.
All right, fair enough. I'm not gonna hold it against you, but I will never forget that.
I kind of figured. So that's kind of the brief overview though. So now that we're all caught up and we're all remembering what SCPs are, we got a good bundle of them we're going to go over today. They're just, of course, these are the ones that we picked out and we thought would be interesting and we thought would be cool. We try to kind of stick away from the really, really popular ones because those have been like done to death on like YouTube. But every once in a while, we'll pop one in. So yeah,
sometimes you got to do the big ones. Sometimes that's the ones that some people want to hear, and I get it, But like he said, we're going to try and stay away from them for the most part. We're going to bring some to light that you guys might not have read or heard about.
Yeah, and we actually we are doing one of the popular ones today because it was just really topical, and you'll see when we get there. But it's just when it becomes relevant and when it feels right, we'll inject them right in a little bit of pop culture MSG.
That's my favorite.
Mm-hmm. It's actually not bad for you. Did you know?
MSG?
Yeah, MSG. Yeah, it's totally.
Is it good for you?
It's not good for you, but it's certainly not bad. It's just like it's like kind of like a salt that like stimulates. So it's just as bad for you as eating too much salt would be. It's really like FDA is like, nah, this shit's like it's for the most part pretty harmless.
You know what? There's so many misconceptions and lies in the nutrition industry that I wouldn't even be surprised if MSG is the next superfood. Who fucking knows?
Yeah, well, actually, it was a big smear campaign because Chinese food used a lot of MSG at the time. Yeah, don't you even get started. You got the Japanese armor, but you don't have the Chinese armor.
I didn't know they had MSG at Petco.
Oh my fucking dude! You're making my editing job harder.
All right, should we get started on these SCPs?
Yeah, I guess we should, huh? God damn it. Just a wonderful start today. Wonderful start.
All right, guys. Well, welcome to part 2 of the SCP Foundation compilation.
SCP Foundation compilation.
Sounds like a what was that old show we used to watch as kids, and it used to teach us about all kinds of shit. It was dumb, and then there was like the bill, and you know what I'm talking about, right? And the conjunction, junction, what's your function? You
know? Schoolhouse Rock.
Schoolhouse Rock. See, SCP Foundation compilation, if you make it into a song, sounds like a Schoolhouse Rock thing for retards.
I don't think it was made for I'm not even okay. No, being I just politically correct with you just doesn't ever work, and I just feel like I just sound like a Google overusing asshole.
Okay, all right. I'll stop it.
Right? Yeah, I'll believe it when I hear it.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go first. The first one I have today is SCP 3006 or 3006, if you will. Okay, object class is Euclid. Description: SCP 3006 is a video titled, quote, "We are number one, except every time you play it, there are twice as many Robbie Rotten."
I gotta tell the viewers, I didn't know I don't know any of the ones Nick picked, and I'm just not surprised. That's the first one. Anyways, continue.
We are number one, except every time you play it, there are twice as many Robbie Rottens, but the room is the same size, not safe for work.
Wow, that does sound not safe for work.
It was posted to the YouTube video hosting server 12th, 2016. It features a musical clip from the show Lazy Town that causes humanoids identical to the character portrayed by the deceased Icelandic actor Stefán Karl Stefánsson.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, big guy. To appear on repeated playbacks. Videos impacted by SCP-3006 are capable of spreading their effects primarily by being posted in threads where multiple non-affected videos are present. Within 1 to 5 minutes of being linked to, all other videos linked in the same thread will begin manifesting SCP-3006's effects.
Oh my God.
Humans or living humanoids featured in videos will double with each playback, including individuals who are off-screen, such as cameramen and sound personnel. The effect is exponential in that upon each playback, the number of subjects in each video doubles. For example, a video containing 2 subjects will instead have 4 upon the second playback. The third would have 8 and the fifth 32. None of these entities appear to have knowledge of SCP-3006's effect and find it highly distressing. Although affecting linked videos, SCP-3006 effect is unique to each viewer. That is, SCP-3006's effect is dependent on how many times the individual person has watched the video. If more than one subject is viewing it, this effect will occur based on who physically initiated playback. If the subject views a series of related videos, the effect will carry over in those subsequent viewings.
This sounds really. I was going to say this sounds really confusing. All that's really connecting with me is the fact that it's just a lot of Robbie Rottens.
Yeah. So what's happening is if it's linked to a video or any thread that has videos linked in that thread as well, and is played, that effect where it doubles how many Robbie Rottens are in that video per play is playing, or that same effect is happening to all other videos.
Oh, so so if I were to be in like a thread about dogs and there's dog videos and stuff, and somebody posts the Robbie Rotten one, now every video posted in that thread is not only a Robbie Rotten "We Are Number One" video, but with every video it infects, it doubles the amount of Robbie Rottens.
No, even in the video, like in the dog videos, it would double the amount of dogs and cameramen, whoever's in the video, every time it's played. So every play will double it twice.
Oh,
weird. In fact, all videos that it's attached to.
Interesting. So if even if I just watch it over and over again, every subsequent watch will double whatever is in the video.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like an infection, like it turns it into itself and replicates it, but no, it just affects. That's weird.
It's very weird. Yeah, it gets a little weirder too.
Wow.
SCP-3006 primarily affects videos taking place in enclosed environments, although this is not universal and cannot be confirmed as a deliberate effect. Once affected by SCP-3006, it is not possible for recorded subjects to exit the area in which the video is taking place. At a certain point, These subjects will suffer traumatic injuries leading to death due to the exponential humanoids instantaneously appearing at the beginning of video playback. This does not prevent SCP-3006's effect from persisting. So basically what they're explaining is it's not just the video, but it's real life that can be affected by it.
Oh, that was my next question. It's like, so the people who, even if they recorded it a while back, do they have to go to that location, or will it just suddenly appear all around them?
I think what's happening is it'll appear all around them, or in the video, it's like a second version of themselves that are being like killed by being basically stuffed in a room with all these people because people keep playing it. Think about a video, even if it gets 1,000 plays, but the video was in a small room with more like 2 people. Each of those 2 people are getting doubled like 1,000 times. Everybody's going to be on top of each other and just dying. Then maybe they die in real life or in their future self or their present self because they died in that video.
Oh, I see. So it's like the self of you recorded is somehow attached to the self that wasn't recorded. So if you die in the video, it just kills you wherever you are.
That's what I think happens. Yeah. That's what I'm surmising so far from this.
Fuck. And that's that.
Well, here we go. Yeah. Let's go a little bit further. Eventually, playback reaches a point where the camera and sound equipment are destroyed due to intense viscera pressure in the enclosed space. This can also occur in outdoor videos, although taking more playbacks to reach that point. This time, the appearance of the video is variable, with non-anomalous graphics spliced in with corrupted digital images. SCP-3006 was initially discovered after social media reports of unusual videos came to Foundation attention. 11,346 initial viewers of SCP-3006 were tracked down and given Class C amnestics. After interrogation, several subjects featured in the initial video were determined to be non-anomalous and were given Class B amnestics. And that is the end of the description.
Ooh, so that started off really just funny, and I thought it was you just fucking around. Actually ended up being something legitimately creepy.
Yeah, see, I got tricks. I got aces up my sleeve. I got surprises.
Such a showman.
But now let's get into the special containment procedures for SCP-3006.
Yeah, how the fuck we take care of this thing?
Exactly, because nobody wants this shit.
I don't.
Online video distribution sites impacted by SCP-3006 are to be monitored by Foundation web crawlers. Manifestations of videos containing SCP-3006 are to be removed upon posting and/or detection. Foundation personnel embedded in the Alphabet Corporation are to ensure that no members of the public are able to view SCP-3006. It is estimated that, without proper implementation of the containment procedures, most videos on the global public internet would be affected within 128 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, the Foundation has not found any ways to prevent additional SCP-3006 videos from being posted. No other SCP objects are to be referred to in the documentation. So there's not really much we can do because it's already been spreading on the internet. But all they can do is to try and catch the new videos as they get popped up and, delete them, get them taken down. But as far as containing it itself, it's a little too late.
Yeah. That's the internet for you. I mean, the minute it's out there, it's out there. That was like that whole thing with like Beyonce had some like really unattractive picture of her online, of her like sneezing or something like that. And her whole PR team apparently went like ham trying to take it out. But nope, that shit's saved forever.
Oh, I remember that picture. That was at the Super Bowl halftime show, I think. And then there was like edits of it where they made her look like the Hulk and shit. It was classic.
It was pretty funny. It was like, I don't know why you would want to take it down. It's like, I don't know. I feel like seeing like celebrities and like stuff like that. It's like, I don't know. I think it humanizes them a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow. So yeah, that's really spooky. So if you end up just randomly suffocating, or someone randomly suffocated, you probably fell victim to this thing.
Sucker.
Hey. I'm glad we got the musical number in. I mean, I was waiting for it.
All right, buddy. What you got? I didn't even look into yours much because I wanted to be kind of a surprise too.
Yeah, well, this is kind of the more popular one I brought up earlier because it's very topical with everything going on with like coronavirus and all that. We
What
have yeah, coronavirus. Have you heard of it?
is that?
It's this crazy disease, man, and it's making us all it's like it's making us all stay inside and it's worse than AIDS. No, that's not true at all.
Wow,
That's I don't want to
sounds
spread
pretty
misinformation.
bad. Worse than AIDS, huh?
Yep, apparently. I think in terms of no, not even. No, AIDS is horrible. There was a whole epidemic on that.
Continue.
So
I'm sorry. I know there's a pandemic going around. I'm being cute.
I just be a little silly goose, huh? So this is SCP-49, or commonly referred to as the Plague Doctor. He's a very popular SCP where he looks like a plague doctor. He is Euclid class. And here is the description: is SCP-49 is a humanoid entity, roughly 1.9 meters in height. What's 1.9 meters?
This isn't Europe. All
Yeah.
right. I need to know.
So for all of us in the United States, that's 6.2 feet tall. So
Ooh, what
he's a big guy.
specimen.
Oh yeah, he's yeah, man, he's got the good Tinder profile with that height, man. You can work with him. Oh boy. So 1.9 meters or a little over 6 feet and bears the resemblance of a medieval plague doctor. So of course, if you don't, I assume if you're listening to this podcast, you probably know what that is. But if you don't, it's the big black robes and the weird long white beak thing with the big black empty eye sockets. And they were around to took care of everyone during the bubonic plague and didn't do shit because medicine sucked back then. So they would just like, well, you know, they'll ring around the rosy, pocket full of posy, ashes, ashes, we all fall down.
Never heard of it.
Well, you just heard of it now. It's an old children's nursery rhyme that was about the Black Plague. A pocket full of posies. That was a type of like dried flour. That would actually is what they stuck in the nose of the plague doctors because they thought that was a way to kind of work with the like to sort of subvert the disease a little bit. So ashes, ashes, burning the bodies, we all fall down. It's because you're dying. And there was, you got kids, everybody's dying. You're trying to just, make it fun, make a little song.
Yay, yay, grandpa died. Yay.
They were different times. So, anyways, while SCP-49 appears to be wearing thick robes and ceramic masks indicative of the plague doctor, these garments seem to have grown out of SCP-49's body over time and are now nearly indistinguishable from whatever form is beneath them. X-rays indicate that despite this, SCP-49 does in fact have a humanoid skeleton structure beneath its outer layer. So all those robes, all that mask is physically part of it. SCP-49 is capable of speech in a variety of languages, but though tends to prefer English or medieval French. While SCP-
That's so dumb. Okay, if you could choose any language, why would you speak medieval French?
Because it's probably where he came from, man. He was probably created or was spawned in France back then.
Oh, the French.
Yep. Lovely people, I think. I don't know. SCP-49 is generally cordial and cooperative with Foundation staff. It can be especially irritated or at times outright aggressive if it feels that it is in the presence of what it calls the pestilence. Although the exact nature of this pestilence is currently unknown to Foundation researchers, it does seem to be an issue of immense concern to SCP-49. 49 will become hostile with individuals it sees as being afflicted by the pestilence, often having to be restrained should it encounter such. If left unchecked, SCP-49 will generally attempt to kill any such individual. SCP is capable of causing all biological functions of an organism to cease only through direct skin contact. How this occurs is unknown, and autopsies of 49's victims have invariably been inconclusive. SCP-49 has expressed frustration or remorse after these killings, indicating that they have done little to kill the pestilence, though will usually seek to then perform a crude surgery on the corpse while using the implements contained within a black doctor's bag it carries on its person at all times. While these surgeries are not always quote-unquote successful, they often result in the creation of instances of what are known as SCP-49-2s. SCP-49-2 instances are basically reanimated corpses that have been operated on by 49. These instances do not seem to retain any of their prior memories or mental functions, having only basic motor skills and response mechanisms. And while these instances are generally inactive, moving very little and in a generally ambulatory fashion, they can become extremely aggressive if provoked or if directed at all by SCP-49. 49-2 instances express active biological functions, though these are vastly different from current understood human physiology. Despite these alterations, 49 often remarks the subjects have been quote unquote cured.
I've cured them.
It's not a bad voice for him.
Oh, he's French though, right?
Yeah, he would have a French accent, I'm assuming.
Oh, I've cured them. Oh, come. Oh, I hear the pestilence inside of you. Oh, come here. Let me touch your face. Let me touch your face.
I mean, probably sounds something like that. Maybe if we like doubled your voice and pitched it a little bit, like so you get that weird monster sound. I think you could be a pretty good contender for the movie. Oh boy, but yeah, this is of course a big one. So there's a little bit of extra information. So let's look into some of the in these articles they're called addendums, but it's basically just the more information. So since this is a big guy, let's learn a little bit more about him, huh?
Big guy, big French guy. Let's learn more about the Plague Doctor and his weird skin robes.
Yep,
which has been both horrifying and arousing to think about.
Yeah, these big old schnoz too. Pretty amazing. So, discovery. SCP-49 was discovered during the investigation of a series of unknown disappearances in the town of Montauban in, I'm sure I got that wrong, in southern France. During a raid on a local home, investigators found several instances of SCP-49-2s, as well as SCP-49 himself. While law enforcement personnel engaged the hostile 49-2 instances, SCP-49 was noted as watching the engagement and taking notes in his journal. After
let me break out my journal.
Oh, what a time to take some notes on my experiment.
Yes, touch the dead bodies and let me see what it does to your hands.
I think later on we'll find he really likes cheese too, which is pretty typical.
I like hard cheeses. The soft cheeses make me weak.
Mm-hmm. I actually did eat cheese for the first time in a while, and yeah, man, gets me farting pretty hard.
Might be lactose intolerant to a certain degree, buddy.
I'm just glad it's not painful. I think when it's painful, that's when it's lactose intolerance. I think it's just general, just eating just a shit ton of milk fat at once is just not super great for your body.
That's true.
So, in this discovery case, all the instances were dispatched, and SCP-49 willingly entered custody.
Oh, yeah, go ahead and arrest me. Take me. I'll leave by midnight. You'll never see me again.
Oh man, he was pretty compliant, but he is a man of science after all, as creepy as he might be. There are a couple interviews, and at risk of this being too long, I will probably skip by those for now, and we'll go into more of just the information. So let's see. We're moving on. There's a note here that says SCP-49 is capable of communicating in a very human way. There's a strange sense of unease that one experiences while in its presence. Make no mistake, there's something very uncanny about this entity indeed. Additionally, we've confiscated the pointed stick that SCP-49 keeps waving around. Part of this was due to...
Give me back my stick.
Wait. I need the stick to, how you say... cure the air around me.
There's a pestilence around. Give me my stick back.
So they say he was a bit of a menace swinging it around. Entity was displeased at first, but after he made some concessions by giving him test subjects, it warmed up to the idea. And actually, really quick, one little bit at the beginning interview, I thought that was interesting, where he first talks in French. So then how do we begin? An introduction. Then the doctor says, is that French? Can we get a translator? And then he's like, oh, the king's English. No need for translation, sir. I can speak it well.
Oh, yes, your smelly king is no match for my French king, but I'll speak your pig language for you.
It's like an episode of Monty Python in here. Oh, man. So here's some bits from the observation log of while he's been at the SCP Foundation. So while in containment at Site 19, SCP-49 has spent a considerable amount of time studying and performing surgery on the various mammalian corpses it has been provided. 49 will routinely spend several days performing surgery, and then, regardless of whether or not the corpse becomes an instance of SCP-49-2, may spend several more days documenting its findings in a thick leather journal stored within its doctor bag. SCP-49 will often seek to share its findings with members of the Foundation's staff. So, like I say, though a weird one and a very creepy one, he is still a man of science, and he likes to share his discoveries. He's a man of pride.
Hey, come here, buddy. Do you want to see what happened when I stuck my stick up that guy's butt? I wrote it down in my journal. Do you want to come look at it?
Well, you'll find too. They stopped giving him human subjects. I mean, they gave him corpses. They didn't give him live humans, but you could see it was probably getting a little disturbing. Let's see. I'm just trying to see. There's a couple different logs of different situations and corpses he worked with. Here's the one where he was given a orangutan. SCP-49 has provided the corpse of a recently deceased orangutan. 49 expressed noted gratitude at the provision due to the similarities between the orangutan and common human physiology. 49 spent several days operating, reanimating it several times. However, 49 appeared to be discontent with the results it experienced and returned to the creature 3 times after its initial reanimation for additional work. After it was unable to reanimate the corpse a 5th time, 49 turned the corpse over to the Foundation staff for incineration, stating, "I have learned so much from this, though I feel my early optimism was misplaced. I hadn't yet come across such a stumbling block on my road to the cure. More subjects like this will do a great deal in advancing my research." So,
yeah, his butthole was 2 inches too small. I'm used to human buttholes.
Now, this interview, though, is a little bit more telling of his motivation. So we have Dr. Ham and SCP-49 discussing. So it'll be, I'll try to do the accent to differentiate it. But so, of course, we have the doctor and we have SCP-49. So in the interview, Ham starts with, "We've watched you work for several weeks now, and honestly, I'm not sure I understand what you're doing. Can you describe your process in detail?" He goes, "Oh, goodness, no, the process is most intensive. As I said to your assistant, the best instructions you will find about my methods are here in my journals, as I have kept exhaustive records of my work there." I see. My concern, doctor, is that we still don't understand what you're seeking to cure, how it manifests, or how turning these creatures into quasi-living mindless drones helps you in that effort. "You do not understand the pestilence, even after all this time. Doctor, it is an unspeakable horror, one that has shown its true face many times before and will again. I find myself blessed with the wisdom and good senses needed to, root it out and destroy it. But many like yourself cannot. It is a cruel judgment, I feel. Be at the mercy of a disease you cannot fully comprehend." Yeah, it does go on, but like I said, for the sake of time, if you do want to read the full interviews, they are all available online. But at one point, the doctor says, "These things are hardly creatures at all," to which SCP-49 replies very agitatedly, "Do not jape with me, sir. You and your colleagues are like so many others, unable to see past minor setbacks to the salvation taking place before your very eyes." So very obsessed with his experiments.
I spit in your face and I take my glove off and slap you in the face with it. Do not come back to me, sir. Leave my cell and leave the stick in here for me.
The guy misses his stick. I mean, you ever been a kid? You're walking around, you got the walking stick, and then they're like, "All right, you can't bring it with us. You got to leave it." And it's like, fuck. I like my stick.
Probably thought it was a lightsaber, and you bastards stole it from him.
Yep, disaster. But there was an incident that happened. Shortly after 49's containment, Dr. Ham conducted a number of interviews with the subjects regarding its anomalous properties, and over time began to note its displeasure with its subjects and its instances. So, of course, those little zombies. This continued for a period of 7 months, during which 49 never exhibited any aggressive behavior. One sec. Sorry, I just got an alert. Another curfew order. Just got the confirmation. 6 p.m.
All right, looks like I'll be at your house at 7.
I can't tell if that's for safety or for if you're just gonna come steal my shit.
I'm gonna come loot your shit.
God damn it. So we might have to cut that, but moving on. On April 16th, 2017, as Dr. Ham was entering SCP-49's test chamber to conduct another routine interview, the entity began to grow anxious and asked Dr. Ham if he was feeling well. Following protocol, Dr. Ham reminded 49 that the interview was required, after which the entity became hostile and attacked Dr. Ham, killing him. Due to a lapse in security protocol, and because Dr. Ham did not activate the in-chamber emergency system, Dr. Ham's corpse was not discovered until 3 hours later, by which the point 49 had converted Dr. Ham into a zombie. In the aftermath, he was interviewed. They basically asked him to explain himself. He says, "My actions do not need to be explained." And he keeps, talking about the pestilence, and he seems like really bothered by the fact that he killed the guy. Because I think he liked the doctor. I think they were friends, but he has this weird thing about the pestilence, and he felt like it was a sacrifice he needed to make. Let's see. They asked for if he experienced any remorse. His response is, yes, well, the death of a colleague is always regrettable. But in the face of the pestilence, we must be swift, Doctor, and act without hesitation.
Also, he would not give me my stick back.
Yeah, he's just mad about the stick. So now that we know how dangerous this thing is, we should probably know how to contain it. So, I think a lot of those explained most of it. But just so we all feel a little bit better, SCP-49 is contained with the standard secure humanoid containment cell in Research Sector 02 at Site 19. So SCP-49 must be sedated before any attempts to transport it. During transport, 49 must be secured within a Class 3 humanoid restriction harness, including a locking collar and extension restraints, and monitored by no fewer than 2 armed guards. While 49 is generally cooperative with most Foundation personnel, outbursts or sudden changes in behavior are to be met with elevated force. Under no circumstances should any personnel come into direct contact with 49 during these outbursts, and in the event 49 becomes aggressive, the application of lavender has been shown to produce a calming effect on the entity.
Ooh.
Yeah, he likes the smell, and it is very calming.
I want to take my lavender bath.
My cheese and my candles for my lavender bath. The favorite part of my evening.
Fucking French people, man.
Yeah. I don't blame him. That sounds kind of nice, having a bath with some cheese and candles and lavender. Yeah, it's a little rom-com, but it could be nice.
That's a good way to put it. It's definitely rom-com. It's definitely a Jennifer Aniston move.
But hey, whatever makes you feel better. It's a stressful world out there. So once SCP-49 is calmed, he generally becomes compliant and will return to containment with little resistance. In order to facilitate the ongoing containment of 49, the entity is to be provided with the corpse of a recently deceased animal, typically a bovine or any other large animal, once every 2 weeks for study. Corpses that become instances of SCP-49-2 are to be removed from 49's containment cell and incinerated. 49 is no longer permitted to interact with human subjects, and requests for any such subjects are to be denied. And there are a couple footnotes on too before we wrap this up. Sorry, it's kind of a long one, but it's also a big one. So just a couple little final known facts is that the robes and gloves are identical to a thick hide built up on his skin, while the mask is composed of it's a chitin. Chitin?
Chitin, yeah, it's like it's a bug. It's like a bug exoskeleton.
Oh, got it. So basically, that's what his Plague Doctor mask is. It's basically that. Entity claims to have originated in the 15th century France, although admits that it is particularly well traveled. The space within its bag is seemingly anomalously large, as SCP-49 has been observed pulling objects larger than the bag itself from within it in order to operate on deceased subjects.
Like Mary Poppins? What the fuck's going on here?
He is kind of like Demon Mary Poppins. Yeah, that's there's a term for that called hammer space, because in old cartoons, characters would reach into bags and pull out, giant hammers. So it's like an infinite containment thing, I guess. 49 has expressed desire to work on human subjects several times. likes the orangutan, but was discontented about not being able to work with humans. SCP has expressed that it does not require sustenance, but enjoys it and feels that food helps him to put into the right mindset to operate. And most notably, SCP-49's journals are not written in any known language, and attempts by linguists and codebreakers to decipher them have been unsuccessful.
That's because French is a dumb fake language.
Stop French. Oh man. It's interesting.
I'm sorry. I'm feeling real feisty today.
Yeah, you're very punchy today, I've noticed.
What can I say? Times are rough, you know. I apparently I'm not allowed to leave my house past 5 o'clock tonight because of the curfew that we just got an alert for. So yeah, I'm a little flustered. I'm going to take it out on the French today. I'm choosing groups because if I take it out on a different group, my house is going to get looted.
I don't think your house is going to get looted, but of course, at the time of this recording, we of course are in California, and things are not good right now. Lot of protests turned riots, and a lot of just bad stuff going on. But if you're listening to this and you know someone who's been affected, you know, our hearts go out to you. We of course definitely support, like, you know, equal rights and the right for people to not be killed just because of how they look and all that stuff. That's horrible. And we hope that some good positive change can come from this. But for now, I hope everyone is safe.
Yeah, and also I hope you guys get your free shoes at Target. Take advantage while you can.
Jeez.
Everybody else and their fucking sisters are doing it, so you guys go ahead and do it.
Yeah, it's
fight civil rights by stealing TVs. That's what I say.
I don't think they're trying to fight civil rights. I think these people are just trying to find an excuse to get some free shit.
Oh man, it's not a bad idea. All right, let's move on. Before I get any ideas.
Oh no!
Before I break curfew tonight.
Which I wouldn't be surprised. I think you did say at one point you wanted to skateboard out past curfew and blast like My Chemical Romance because you said, quote unquote, what are they going to do? Blow me wrong?
Well, I figured I'd go back to my high school rebellion days and see if I can beat a police cruiser on my shortboard. I wonder if I can do that.
That would be it would be newsworthy.
It's like fucking Huey Lewis and the News playing in the background. It's hip to B squared. Dun, 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 dun. It's like an 80s movie.
Sick reference, bro.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so shall we continue on?
Let's continue on. I'm up next, and I have SCP 2129, and that's what I'm going to call him because you could say it like 2129. You could say it 2129. You could say it 212 pause 9. You could say 2 pause 129. But I'm going to say 2129 because it's the simplest one, and it's and you're not going to kill any time by saying it. You're not going to be doing anything stupid by saying 2129. So I'm going to do that.
How long was the process of you determining the most efficient way to say numbers?
Okay, look, I barely graduated high school. I had to put a lot of thought into this.
Were you one of those at graduation you just kind of look around like, how the fuck did I get here kind of deal?
I was sweating the week before they announced the graduation, so
the list to see if you were on it.
I was like, come on. I blew that guy. I blew him.
Oh, those were fun times.
All right, but I have SCP-2129, object class Euclid. And let's get into the description. So SCP-2129 is an invisible entity manifesting itself by a continuous stream of detonations. It possesses the ability to levitate and fly in 3 dimensions and is able to reach speeds of up to 152 kilometers per hour. I don't know what that is in miles per hour. Tasker.
Yep. 152.
Yeah. You're like my Jamie for like the Joe Rogan experience. I'm like, hey, Tasker, will you pull that up for me real quick?
Yeah. Well, I'm an expert Googler. That's not, I don't put that on a resume. Don't quote me on that. 94 miles an hour. So almost 100 miles per hour.
That's pretty fucking fast. All right. So he's able to reach speeds of up to 94 miles per hour. Detonations happen continuously while the creature is moving, with a general frequency of about 2 detonations per second. The explosion's energy output has been estimated to be in the neighborhood of 5 gigajoules, or the equivalent of 1.2 tons of TNT. It has been theorized that detonating is either its means of energy production or a side effect of energy production. Likewise, study of the creature's flight patterns have shown changes in directions correlated to its detonations. Holy shit, that's crazy.
That's pretty whack. So it just zooms around and just leaves explosions in its wake.
Yeah, but it's invisible, so you don't. It's just like this thing. It's just like continuous explosions in the sky every time. But to us, it doesn't look like anything because it's invisible. But it's just like, yeah, dude, that's fucking cool.
That is really cool, actually. And it's in the sky though, so it's not really a threat, right? Maybe.
Yeah, unless you're like a tower, like a skyscraper, or maybe you're like a tower that has a twin, you know. Anyway, so you could probably cut that.
Okay.
And I'll just restart from I don't remember. No, I was gonna start somewhere, but we were just talking about what we were talking about. So.
You bastard.
Thermal cameras show, in the absence of explosions, an oblong, serpentine body approximately a meter long with no other discernible characteristics. Experiments to discover more about the characteristics, wow, who wrote this? Hold on. Experiments to discover more about the characteristics entity's physical body. Oh boy, man. Are currently being devised. There was a little bit of a snafu in the English language here. But I think what they're trying to say is experiments to discover more about the entity's physical body are currently being devised. There we go.
Okay, so it's still out and about then, huh?
It's still out there, man. I mean, I don't know, actually. Let's see. SCP-2129 necessitates air to detonate. Will do so continuously until it has consumed all the available air, after which it will enter a dormant state and only resume activity when more oxygen is available. Is there always oxygen available?
Usually, yeah, unless it means like it builds up oxygen inside of itself, and that's what combusts, because you need oxygen to create fire. So
that makes more sense than what I was thinking.
Interesting. So we don't know what it looks like. It just explodes, then it chills, and then just explodes.
Yeah, exactly. It is unknown what process the creature uses to create the detonation, as no trace of any known explosive has ever been found to have been emitted by it. The entity appears to be attracted by explosives and explosive substances, and displays an ability to sense them through hard surfaces by an unknown process. SCP-2129 also appears to possess sapience. This is evidenced by the ability to modulate the strength and the length of the detonations it emits to communicate in Portuguese using a rough, sometimes inexact version of Morse code. It is able to communicate in short sentences in this manner and is able to understand messages communicated in the same manner. So apparently, this guy knows Portuguese Morse code. Didn't even know that was the thing, to be honest. I thought Morse code. I don't know. I don't know.
And by the way, did you say he has sapience or sentience?
This guy said sapience. Look, okay. The person who wrote this article, they have like a decent grasp on the English language, but it's not like.
Well, too busy speaking Portuguese and Morse code.
Yeah. You know what? The more I think about it, I think this article was just written by this SCP because he's used to communicating in Portuguese Morse code and doesn't have a good grasp on the English language.
Yeah, just putting everything through Google Translate and just hoping for the best.
Yeah, that's probably, and they just copied and pasted apparently. Let's see here. Extended conversations have revealed that SCP-2129 displays a generally cooperative but melancholic demeanor. mostly expressing frustration concerning its containment and wishes to be released and made able to roam freely.
Oh, so it is
So,
contained.
bad boy.
Oh, bit of a thug.
SCP-2129 was captured on redacted 20 redacted, following its destruction of the coastal town of redacted Brazil, causing the deaths of redacted inhabitants and injuring redacted others. The incident was publicly attributed to a terrorist attack by explosives, and efforts to fabricate proof corroborating this version of the facts are still ongoing. All known survivors have been administered standard Class 3 amnesia treatment. The area should be closed off under the pretense of an ongoing investigation. Civilians and possible investigators alike should be discouraged from the premises by any means necessary.
Wow. So I didn't know. So SCP's got that old Men in Black memory wipe thing, huh?
Apparently, dude. Apparently they can wipe memories of whole towns in Brazil.
Ooh, Brazil.
Special containment procedures. Now let's figure out how to contain a bunch of explosives.
Yeah.
SCP-2129 is to be kept in its dormant state in a specially designed vacuum-sealed container with walls composed of 10 centimeters of tungsten backed by 1 meter of concrete. The containment chamber requires a self-contained oxygen regulation system in the form of an inert gas fire suppression system. The container must be monitored by no less than 6 thermal cameras at all times without exception, and be equipped by 1 loudspeaker allowing communication in Morse. And I'm assuming that is Portuguese Morse.
Oh, that's crazy too. With the reason why, of course, tungsten is because it's got such a there's a word for it, but it's like a there's that temperature to melt it, like a melting point or whatever the hell. Tungsten's like ridiculously high, and that's why they used it a lot. I don't know if they still do. I'm assuming maybe, but in most like incandescent light bulbs and stuff. And the only reason I know that is because there was a huge arc in the anime Dr. Stone where they're in like, a destroyed society, and he has to learn how to make a cell phone out of just nature shit. It's great.
Jeez.
It's a great show.
Oh my God.
I'm learning science.
God. God help you. God help me.
Oh, he already has.
Every episode, Tasker, every episode you seem to just find a way to fucking snake it in, don't you?
Hey, I don't start these episodes thinking on how I'm gonna work it in. It's just relevant. It just happens.
Anime is never relevant.
It's always relevant.
Okay, just never. Okay, look, man, you did it. Good job. You talked about building cell phones with fucking Dr. Rock, whatever his name was. I need you to just not bring it up again this episode. All right. I will allow this was your one. Everybody gets one.
Well, I'll take it with grace as well as I can, but I can't make any true promises, but we'll see. We'll see.
Fine. All right. Well, let's finish up SCP-2129. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All equipment must be encased in 5 centimeters of blast-resistant laminated glass. A 10 meters long corridor must lead to a containment chamber and be designed in the same manner. No personnel. See, look at this. Look at this little. Okay, so it says no personnel is allowed. Okay, but it should be no personnel are allowed to enter SCP-2129's container while it hasn't been deoxygenated. I don't know if it might be under any circumstances, and must wear sealed bomb suits when doing so.
Damn, that sounds terrifying.
That's crazy, dude. Okay, and that's it for the containment procedures. But damn, those containment procedures are pretty fucking strict. I'm surprised it's Euclid.
I know. You think it kind of borders on Keter, right?
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
Yeah, you need a bomb squad to go in every single time. And I saw, I don't know how true this is, but I saw a post one time where somebody was talking to a bomb squad dude. They're like, well, how do you there's so much pressure with this job because of course if you do it incorrectly, you blow up. So how do you stay so calm under all that pressure? And they're like, well, the reason being is because if I do a good job, I do a good job. If I do a bad job, well, it's not my problem anymore.
I just saw that recently too. Yeah, it's like exactly. It's a good mentality to have with anything in life. So if you guys are stressing out, just remember It could easily be somebody else's thing to worry about. So don't stress over anything. That's what I've been trying to do lately, and it's been working great.
How does that work on your fight or flight response? You just are always fight now?
I flight now. I'm a flight. I used to fight all the time, but nowadays I can, I'm good. I'll walk away but if I don't have to, I won't walk away. But most of the time it's good to just get out of there. Just don't get into quarrels you don't need to be in.
Yeah, well, good. I'm happy for you, man, because especially with all that hamstring action you showed us earlier, like I'm sure that packs quite a punch. Oh, you're showing it again.
Damn, look at those things. It looks like a couple of they look like a couple of hams. A couple of hams behind my knees.
Simply astonishing. If only you could see what I see right now.
I'm in my underwear right now.
Like I said, all it would take is just a little angle to the left and maybe a slight fan breeze, and I would probably see a little gooch.
Yeah, I mean, if you're lucky.
Yeah, who knows? It could be the day. It could be next time. I'll count my lucky stars.
All right, Tasker. Well, it looks like you're up next, buddy. What's your next one?
This one is also weirdly relevant to the whole living in a worldwide pandemic with sickness everywhere. This is known as SCP-348, Object Class Safe. The description: SCP-348 is a white ceramic bowl patterned with light blue flowers, measuring approximately 20 centimeters in diameter and 9 centimeters high. While there's no maker marks, that's tripping me up. There's a whiskey called Maker's Mark, so that was like, yeah, sorry. While no maker's marks are present, the Chinese characters for, quote, thinking of you, end quote, are etched into the side of the bowl. While in the presence of an individual afflicted with a minor ailment or injury, such as like a mild cough, runny nose, or a scrape, SCP-348 will fill with soup. While the ingredients present within the soup produced by SCP-348 vary, younger subjects, usually between the ages of 4 and 18, have consistently stated that they enjoyed the meal, sometimes stating that it reminded them of their parents' cooking. Subjects will finish the soup found in SCP-348 if allowed. Children who eat from SCP-348 several times often express a feeling of contentment, stating that though they were eating by themselves, they do not feel lonely.
Huh, that's so wholesome. It makes me sick.
Yeah, it's kind of cute. Special containment procedures is to be kept in a standard locker at Site 19. Personnel wishing to conduct tests involving 348 are to obtain a level 3 or higher authorization and present a detailed list of intended test subjects. So it's just in a locker somewhere.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So there's a bowl of soup in somebody's locker.
Well, it's just a bowl. And when you present it to somebody and they have to have some kind of mild affliction, it will fill itself up with soup. And it's like a refilling health potion, kind of.
So, but I can't put cereal in this bowl?
No, it'll just fill itself up. They do go a little bit more in depth of like the experiments they did with that, but I'm assuming you could probably fill it up with your own stuff, but that kind of defeats the purpose, I would imagine.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to make it feel bad about itself. My bad.
Wow, way to go, man. So, SCP-348 was acquired shortly after rumors of a child living in Redacted apparently possessed remarkable recovery abilities. This kid came to the Foundation's attention. Investigations revealed that the child in question originally discovered SCP-348 in the attic of their house and had come to rely on it after receiving insufficient attention from their parents. The child's parents, both full-time workers, refused to comment on their relationship with their child. Resulting testing involved children were carried out under the guise of surveys to gauge the success of new food items offered at public schools. It has been noted that occasionally, after soup produced by 348 had been consumed, a message will materialize on the inside of the bowl. Words produced on the inside of the bowl appear to be printed on the ceramics consistent with existing markings. The message that appears will be in the language most familiar to the drinker of the soup. After several hours, or when SCP-348 produces another meal, the words will disappear. And here's a couple of the tests that they did with it. So here's like an 8-year-old female. She had a sore throat. The background is she is in good terms with her parents and took about 30 minutes to eat the soup. Remarked later that her sore throat had appeared to have gone away. We have a 10-year-old male recently injured while biking, has minor bruising, lives with his parents, and often argues with them both. And the note is that a message saying, "Don't forget to brush," had appeared for him. Mhm. Subject, and that's where things get a little mysterious. Subject, 11-year-old male afflicted with a slight cold, lives with foster parents. After he had the soup, the message that appeared was, "I'm glad you're happy." Let's see. We have a 9-year-old female who had a slight cold, lives with her parents, but is said to be prone to tantrums. Nothing of note occurred during or immediately after testing. The subject stated while she didn't particularly care for the soup after tasting it, she still wanted to eat it. Follow-up investigation revealed that the subject recovered from the cold faster than expected. 7-year-old female afflicted with a cough, lives with her mom and grandma. Her father had deceased in a traffic accident. Message that appeared says, "I love you."
Wow, this is disgusting.
It's cute. It's a little positivity and a nice little short one. But there's a couple here about when they tried it on older people though. So generally it works incredibly well for like young kids. But it says here, testing has revealed that in the event that somebody older than 18 attempts to consume the soup, the individual will find that they're less inclined to finish the meal. Some such individuals will remark that something is missing, or most will simply just state that the soup was nothing out of the ordinary. Further studies carried out with older subjects indicated that though messages will appear, the appearances of the messages will be worn and faded. So we have a 30-year-old female who had a headache. She was on poor terms with her parents and refused to accept her father's offer for career training. Currently living alone, had the soup, and a message appeared that just simply said, "Why?" 35-year-old male who had a cough. His parents were divorced. He visits his father and stepmom once a month and does not visit his mom on her insistence. Received a message saying, "It'll get better." This one I thought was very so we got a little dark twist here. 40-year-old male afflicted with minor backaches who had murdered his father approximately 1 year ago. Subject tasted and then refused to consume the soup, complaining about the taste. Subject later developed mild stomach pains. After the contents of 348 were disposed of, SCP-348 immediately filled with what appeared to be salt water, which remained for 3 hours before disappearing.
Huh.
Despite the extensive data gathered in testing, it is unknown whether the messages that SCP-348 has it is unknown whether the messages that SCP-348 has manifested God, you're right. Who writes these? Good God. They don't know if the messages originate from the fathers of the subjects or if the messages are being written by SCP-348 itself. There was a case where the bull was used in a test involving a 60-year-old man suffering from a terminal illness. The subject was a grandfather with multiple grandchildren, stated the soup produced by 348 was actually the best he had ever tasted. And following the test, the subject reported a sense of satisfaction and noticed that the pain caused by the illness seemed to have faded. The subject passed away peacefully a week later.
Wow, this bowl of soup is denser than my soul.
It's almost disarmingly simple.
All right, well, we're coming up to the last ones for each of us, and I have SCP-4032. Okay, now this is a fun one because the object class is safe, so everybody stop fucking shitting yourself. Everything's fine, all right? And you'll see why I chose that word, that term. Description. SCP-4032 is a wide, mounding, deciduous shrub producing a small, round, brown fruit designated SCP-4032-1. When an animal or human consumes SCP-4032-1, it produces extreme gastrointestinal distress. 1 hour following consumption, the affected individual will form an excess amount of flatulence containing elevated levels of hydrogen sulfide and a smaller but noticeable amount of methane gas.
So they're big, they're wet, and they are smelly.
Yes, these are the bad ones. Okay, I'm assuming these are the silent but deadly ones.
Oh, after all that talk of cheese and farts, I didn't even realize that was topical.
Due to an anomalous effect, this flatulence will continuously be produced until the affected individual is deceased. See response below.
You're right. This is a good one.
Fasting and dehydration do not affect the flatulence. And endoscopy has discovered no identifiable source of the anomalous flatus.
Oh my God.
An affected individual in an area with improper ventilation will, over time, experience severe symptoms caused by hydrogen sulfide poisoning, including conjunctivitis, respiratory irritation, loss of smell, pulmonary edema, and death. And here's a little bit of a note on its discovery. SCP-4032 was discovered on April 2nd, 2018. An individual known as Anthony Green came upon SCP-4032 in the foothills of Northern California.
Ooh.
After consuming SCP-4032-1, he made a distress call to the local search and rescue team, which was intercepted by Foundation operatives. Due to its relative isolation and access to natural resources, the area surrounding SCP-3042 has been purchased by the Foundation and a research facility constructed under the guise of a personal estate. A 3-meter fence has been erected on the property, and SCP-4032 is currently contained with other biological specimens in the research garden area of the site, now distinguished as Site 67.
Uh-oh. Stinky.
Uh-oh.
Wow. That was quite a find.
If you guys think beans will give you gas problems, let me tell you this. This one, you literally won't stop farting until you die. They're bad, too. They're like really bad. Like it's like a high protein diet times 3 bad. And I know about it. It sucks.
Yeah. See, you know, when you're dealing with anomalous creatures that really can be anything, they mean it can be anything. And as simple as just a shrub that produces fruit that just makes you fart till you die.
Yeah, fart berries. We'll call them fart berries because that's all they are.
Yeah, it seems like I was going to say, if it wasn't for the whole lifetime death sentence, it'd be a fun little prank to play on your friends.
Well, let's get into the special containment procedures. Unless you guys really want to try them, then don't worry about this part.
Oh boy, I kind of want to know. That does not sound like a fate I want to fall victim to.
True. All right. Well, SCP-4032 has been cornered off in the research gardens of Site 67, as mentioned previously. All instances of SCP-4032-1 are to be gathered daily and incinerated on site. Misuse of SCP-4032-1 will lead to suspension or termination of employment. So don't pick the berries and prank your friends with them. It's not a prank. That's a life-changing experience.
It's like the dude who slipped a disc in his spine and just had repeated orgasms until he eventually had surgery that ended up fixing it. Well, not entirely. He went down from 80 orgasms a day to like 5.
That's manageable, and that's where I'm at anyway, so it's fine.
Good for you. I'm sure your prostate thanks you.
Any animal found to have consumed SCP-4032-1 is to be captured, euthanized, and incinerated. Only one specimen of SCP-32 or 4032 has been found to date. Should additional specimens be found, MTF Alpha 67, quote, weed whackers, unquote, will be dispatched to uproot the specimen and transport it to Site 67. All humans that have consumed SCP-4032-1 are to be contained in holding cells B1 through B5 in the outer perimeter of Site 67. Each cell is to be outfitted with 3 redundant air filters containing thiobacillus thioparus. Yeah, embedded in a peat and polyurethane mixture. Hydrogen sulfide and methane sensors are installed in each filter. Upon sounding of sensors, MTF Alpha 13, quote, odor eaters, unquote, are to escort the individual outside while repairs are completed. So they they named their special ops unit to escort farty people odor eaters.
Could have used those in the high school gym lockers.
And that's it for the fart berries.
That's yeah, like I said, on a list of things I expected today, that's not on it. That was not a thing I really thought I would ever know about. So thank you.
You're welcome.
So we're gonna wrap this up. I know I'm jumping right into this, and I'm gonna try to go through it quickly because being that we're in a time of crisis in California, both of us have forgotten to go to the grocery store, and the curfew got pushed back an hour. So we got to finish this up now. So
we have to be at the grocery store within 40 minutes.
Yep. So we're doing it. We're speed running, dude. We got this. We're gonna be breaking records. So last one is SCP-294. Object class is Euclid. Description is 294 appears to be a standard coffee vending machine, the only noticeable difference being an entry touchpad with buttons corresponding to an English QWERTY keyboard. Upon depositing 50 cents US currency into the coin slot, the user is prompted to enter the name of any liquid using the touchpad. Upon doing so, a standard 12-ounce paper drinking cup is placed and the liquid indicated is poured. 97 initial test runs were performed, including requests for water, coffee, beer, and soda, non-consumable liquids such as sulfuric acid, wiper fluid, and motor oil, as well as substances that do not usually exist in a liquid state, such as nitrogen, iron, and glass, and each one returned a success. Test runs with solid materials such as diamond have failed. However, as it appears that SCP-294 can only deliver substances that can exist in a liquid state. It is of note that after approximately 50 uses, the machine would not respond to further requests. After a period of approximately 90 minutes, the machine seemed to have restocked itself. It is also interesting to note that many caustic liquids that would have eaten through a normal paper cup appear to have no effect on the cups that is dispensed by the machine. Testing is still ongoing. As suggested, SCP-294 was moved to the second floor personnel break room as a money-saving venture.
those clever bastard.
Following incident 294-01, guards were stationed at the item and a security clearance became necessary in order to interact with it. So regarding the incident, on August 21st, 2005, Agent Joseph Redacted attempted to use item SCP-294 to obtain coffee during his allotted break at 9:30 a.m. At the request, Agent Redacted, to quote, see what it would do, requested, quote, a cup of Joe from the item. Moments after confirming selection, Agent Joseph Redacted began to sweat profusely and complained of dizziness before collapsing. After moving the unconscious agent to the infirmary, the medical team recovered the contents of the cup dispersed by 294. It was a combination of blood, tissue, and other bodily fluids. Testing revealed the DNA sequence of the biological material dispensed by 294 matched Agent Joseph Redacted. Agent Redacted made a complete recovery after 4 weeks of rest and intravenous hydration. X-rays and CAT scans showed no further signs of injury, and Redacted was released. Both agents were reprimanded. Additional security measures for SCP-294 have been recommended. So that's the case of why they have security guards around it now.
Jesus.
Yep. After reviewing documentation on 294, suggested testing SCP-294's ability to retrieve specific liquids from a distance. With the overseeing of data expunge, sorry, there's a lot of redacted in this. So this is where there was another SCP that's involved with this one. It's gonna take we're on a time budget. I'm just gonna move on. Researchers punched in a request for a cup of gold. The machine dispensed a cup of molten gold. Researchers requested similar precious metals with the same results. Researchers also punched in, from a safe range, a request for a quote-unquote cup of anti-water. The machine hummed briefly and then displayed a quote-unquote out of range on its entry pad. It is theorized that SCP-294 has a limited range of collection and cannot reach into alternate universes or dimensions, so it does have a limit. Another researcher punched in a request for diamond. 294 briefly hummed, then displayed out of range on the entry pad. 294 gives this as a result for all solid substances. As diamond is a solid crystalline form of carbon, it appears the machine did not dispense liquid carbon. This does not result in diamond. When quote-unquote cup of carbon was subsequently punched in. The machine dispensed a cup of liquid carbon. SCP-294 was immune to the damaging effects of the dispensed liquid. They've also tested its capacities for retrieval. A unique compound has been formulated composed of undisclosed ratio of brand bleach, brand cola, METRX powder, and garam masala. No idea what that is, but if you know...
an Indian dish.
Oh, interesting. It sounds yummy. I know tikka masala, but garam masala, is that like different?
I have no idea. It might not be an Indian dish. It just sounds like it, though.
The attempt was there, and that's where it counts. So basically, they created a fake, just a mixture of stuff, and then they typed it in, and an equal amount of the mixture was no longer present in. So the fluid was dispensed, and it says an equal. So it was able to imitate exactly what they made, but an equal amount of the mixture was no longer present in the original container. So it looks like it kind of does like some kind of temporal pulling from somewhere else or something like that. Under the observation of level 4 personnel, a researcher keyed in the request of the best drink I've ever had. 294 dispensed the fluid similar to the appearance in cola. The researcher identified it as a mixed drink that he recalls having at a bar during his bachelor party, and was convinced at the time that it was the best drink. Redacted, did not know what ingredients were in the drink besides rum and cola. Further tests are scheduled to ascertain how the SCP gathers informations. So under the same conditions, another agent requested for the best drink I've ever had. 294 delivered a dark fluid topped with white foam, which was later identified as a Vienna lager. The cup was printed with a color picture of 5 men and 2 women drinking beer on the beach. And the agent was one of them. In the briefing, the agent confirmed that his favorite drink was a Vienna lager that he had consumed at the beach with his friends. It has now been confirmed that 294 has the ability to directly gather information from the mind of whoever is giving the conditions and typing in the drink. So subject keyed in the perfect drink. The machine dispensed a cup containing an odorless lavender liquid. After drinking the liquid, the subject appeared to go into shock after drinking the supposed perfect drink. Subject later committed suicide, leaving a note which read, "I am sorry, but at this point, everything's just one big letdown." Requesting such a drink again is highly discouraged. None of the components of the drink have yet been identified.
Jesus.
Let's see. One is researcher keyed in request for a cup of music. 294 produced a clear sparkling fluid that tasted vaguely alcoholic. After ingestion, subject reported feeling and not hearing a continuous rhythm, demonstrated the ability to move and dance with a certain fluidity he had not previously shown. Dr. King, one of the researchers, produced a request for a cup of room temperature superconductor and received a cup of apple juice with seeds floating in it. Dr. Menchu produced a request. Yeah. I don't know. I don't get it either, but I'm sure there's some scientists out there who might. I don't know. Dr. Menchu produced a cup of D15 somebody's leukemia, and received a cup of fluid. The fluid was microscopically examined and found leukemic blast cells, which were of a genetic match to the subject. A second request for the cup of the leukemia resulted in an out-of-range error, and the subject was shown to be free of leukemia, but within 15 days, leukemia has returned. There's a lot more very interesting cases and stuff like that, but we are out of time and we have to wrap it up.
Damn, that's crazy, man. I wish I had a vending machine that could give me any liquid I want, dude.
Yeah, it's just the possibilities with this thing. They're so creative and so interesting. And I love how in-depth it goes. And they tried like everything from like getting diseases, because it can really produce. It's another thing with that hammer space, but it just has this like teleportation thing. Like, I don't know. It was one of those. And also, dude, I don't know, but I love vending machines. Like, I know they're like campy and cheap and shit, but like, I don't know. I always thought they were kind of a fun process. Like, you know, but especially the ones that have like the conveyor belt and it drops the soda. And it's like an arcade game, but you get a prize every time.
Yeah, you don't have to like actually try for a prize. You just need to have the money. You got to have the cash to play.
Yep. Just like in America. Yay. Oh, geez. So that being said, though, thank you for listening. Thank you for coming here for second part of SCPs. Kind of a more kickback, chiller episode. There's a lot going on right now, as you know, and it's just felt kind of nice to just have a nice read, just learn about some cool monsters and stuff without getting too deep divey and stuff like that. But we hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully you got some good campfire story fodder off of this, or a good way to, lull yourself to sleep with some nice bedtime stories. If you like what you hear, iTunes, we are there. Give us a rate and a review, 5 stars if you please. Help us with that visibility. Spotify, shoot us a follow. Instagram at CEOTPK. Twitter at CEOTPK1. Follow us on Facebook, Close Encounters of the Podcast Kind. Hit us up on Discord at discord.gg/lowercase b, capital 6. Capital 6, huh?
Capital 6, dude.
I told you, we're speed running. We're speed running, and we're about.
No, I didn't want to say anything, Tasker, but I'm a little worried about you.
Like I said before, man, I think I'm not dyslexic by any means, but I think it's numbers, man. I don't know why. Like, I'm pretty sure I mixed up SCP 294. I think I said 249 at least several times, but
You're like the opposite of Rain Man.
I think so. Definitely the one that doesn't get the movie made about him. So that's discord.gg/lowercase b, number 6, capital C, capital T, number 5, capital M, capital X. If you feel like we deserve monetary compensation for our podcast, send us a couple bucks at our coffee at ko/fi.com/CEOTPK. Count Chocula episode still in the works. Obviously, government's been watching us extra hard with everything going on, so we kind of have to lay low for a little bit because we don't want all of our stuff destroyed again. It's really frustrating to really have to start over so many times, but we're doing it for you guys. We're doing it to give you a good episode.
Every major city in this country is rioting, not because of civil rights, but it's because we have yet to release the Count Chocula episode, and it is coming though. Put the shoes back.
If you feel the urge to create property damage because of our inability to give you Count Chocula in a timely manner, we tell you just be patient. It's going to be worth it. Don't do the graffiti. Don't break the window. Just be safe. Be at home. Get some nice Postmates in the next 40 minutes because everything's about to shut down, which I think that's our signal to go. So once again, thank you all for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Yeah, and everybody just remember that the truth is out there, whether you like it or not.
But it's not.